it's Ben here from Bourse Data, and I'm excited to talk to you about the enhancements available in the Bourse Analyser. So we've just done a release to the Bourse Analyser. There's a fair few items that will be beneficial to you and things you can really use in the Bourse Analyser. So the first one I'm going to start off with is an enhancement to the market depth. So you see in our screen right now, we've got the market depth here, and we've added something called equilibrium price and surplus volume. So the equilibrium price and the surplus volume is only available in the pre-alert, so before 10 o'clock. So the equilibrium price is basically the price people are willing to pay to buy that stock on Westfield. So if we look at it here, the equilibrium price here is essentially set on the ask price, so that's what people are willing to spend on it, while the surplus volume is the difference between the amount of people willing to buy it, so in this case it's green, so that's why it's a green color, compared to the amount of people willing to sell it. So the difference between, that's why 707 is the difference between the amount of volume available on the ask side compared to the bid side. So that's how it measures up. Of course, if there was more people wanting to sell it, the surplus volume would be a negative and it'd be red. Now we're going to jump over to the watch list section here, and we've made a couple little changes in here. One of these is not the newest thing, but it's also good to show you, is the column selection option. So you see the little arrow or triangle in the top left corner? When you click on it, it'll give you the drop down of the columns available, so you can show and hide what you want to see available. So in this instance, we're going to just hide the status column here because probably don't need it. So we'll go to click on the little triangle, and in that drop down menu, we're going to click on status. When we untick it, that'll basically hide it. And if we click on it again, it re-adds it back into the order it had it already. Also, we made some changes to the actual watch list, so the system ones and the user ones are created. One of the functions we've added in here, which is pretty cool, I think, is the clone function. So you see it on just to the right there. So now you can actually clone any watch list that you want. So in this instance, we're going to clone the top 20, because a lot of clients said to me, I want to be able to make a copy of the top 20 and then add codes to it that I'm really interested in. So I'm just going to create my own little watch list here, which will go into my user watch list. So in the top right corner, it's got the name I just selected it in. Now I can add a code to it. I'm just going to add Sienna. So I'll just add the code in there. And then you'll see it's been added to the watch list alphabetically. So remember, any code you add will be sorted alphabetically every time. Any codes you add as well, they get saved automatically. Look at the section you've probably been waiting for the most in the Bourse Analyser. That's an upgrade to our charting. So it's something we've been talking about for months and months. We're going, oh, we've got a fantastic charting engine coming soon. It's finally available. So I'm going to go through with you now and show you how good I think it is. So let's go through a couple of facts. 115 indicators, 34 drawing tools, 28 different chart types, and 8 different time periods. So how we access it, we go to company data, then advanced charts. So your existing charts in the system will still be available for another couple of months until we eventually phase them out, basically when you're all up to speed on the new charting engine. So there's a couple of different colors you can do within the application. So we've got the light and the dark mode. So what I'm going to do now is change it to the dark mode. So if I go to the user options in the top right corner, so it's a little circle with a man in it. When I click on that, then I go to settings. Then I'm going to switch it to the dark mode. So you'll see me go through and do that. So now, first of all, we're going to have a look at what we'll call the display, or the different chart types. So you go across the top there, display, and select on that. So probably what's important to you guys is there's a bit of different terminology in here. The biggest one is what we call the bar and the colored bar. They are essentially your open, highlight, close charts that we're used to in all our other charting applications. So once you've set it on there, you can, if we go back to display, now we can add the open, highlight, close information. So you see in the top left corner there, it's going to have your open, highlight, close, and even your volume prices. So no matter where you click on the actual chart, it'll display what the actual open, highlight, close values were for that bar. Also, we've got the crosshair tool, which is people have been really asking for. So you can do a similar thing with the open, highlight, close prices, and you can actually see them on your X and Y axis on your charts. So across the bottom and on the far right, you can see the price at that particular time. So here I've jumped to a white screen just for a bit of different background color. Now we're going to look at periods. So there's the 8 different time periods available in this charting. So it's just a matter of going through and selecting which one you want. Obviously, if you're looking at going from like a monthly to a intraday, the bars will be a lot bigger. So that's why across the bottom we've got the plus and the minus, so you can zoom in and zoom out on your chart. You can also use the scroll button on your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. And you can start adding some studies, or what we know as indicators, to your charts. So we click on your studies across the top, and we click on add, and now we'll get the list of all the indicators available. So remember, there's the 115 indicators or studies as we need to train our brain around. So let's just add a Bollinger Band to our chart here. So it's already added the Bollinger Band on there. So now we can go through, if we highlight on there and scroll back, how it actually draws on the chart in the different time scales. Also, if you put your cursor over it and you can right click on it, you can actually modify your settings. So in here, it's got all the normal settings where you can go through and make the adjustments on your periods, your calculations, your colors, basically modifying it as much or as little as you want to get the results you're after. So as you can see below, I'm just actually updating it all. Just gonna update my calculation type, make sure everything's good, and okay that, and then you see those changes been made on the chart. Now let's add, say, also you can actually modify it through there across the top in your studies. Let's go through and add a lower indicator. In this instance, we'll do a MACD. So now you can actually see it's got a histogram. That'll make a lot of people happy. And I've just adjusted the size of it so you can see it a bit clearer. So with these bottom ones, you can actually adjust the settings on that little cog there. So look, like all the other indicator windows, whatever you adjust here, you can see it in real life below. So I'm just going to update that and set some funky colors so make it nice and easy for me to see. And with this, you can also send it to the top of your screen if you want to really focus on that, and delete it, which is what I've just done quickly. Now I'm going to have a look at basically adding stringing a few together, and then what we'll do is we'll try saving it as a layout. So I'm just going to go through, add some different indicators than I did before. So now we're just doing some moving averages. So you can see I've added 2 moving averages for exactly the same. If I go to studies, you can see the 2 different moving averages in there and actually modify it from up there, so I can actually see the difference between the 2 if they're exactly the same. So I've added those on there. I'll just add a volume onto the chart. So I've added on there. I'm just going to make that different color so I can a bit easy. So I'm just going to change the code, and you see that reflects those basically studies will reflect on no matter what code I look at. So now we're looking at the drawing tools. So I've got all the drawing tools in there. So remember, there's 34 drawing tools available, and you've got 4 different sections. So this is the annotation. So basically the text tool you can put on here. So I'll put that at a higher high, but as soon as I realize it, I can see there's a higher high on the far left, but we won't bring that up. So I can just click it on there, add it wherever I want. Also, I can go across to the top and modify all the colors, the font, sizing, which a lot of clients will like, and also bold and italics. Now we're looking at like the line tools. So now we can add some lines to your chart. So some of your trend lines we can add in there. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and I'll just try and pick a point which I'll like adding to the chart here. Okay, so that's on there. So that's been drawn on there. With these, of course, we can also change the colors and the line styles. So I'm going to change it to an orange, and I'll make it a lot thicker. So I'll just drag it about and find where I want to put that on the actual chart itself. So I can do a nice orange uptrend on there. That's good. Okay. So also got like all a horizontal and continuous lines and verticals as well. So if you want to put your lines on there, you can do that for your different price points, like do your resistance lines essentially. You can pop those on there as well. So I'm just going to change code so it's nice and clean when I add it to when I work on a new chart. So that's fine. Just makes it a bit easier to see. So now I'm going to look at more like your objects. So I'm going to put some ellipses on there so you can see we've got to set our colors for your outline and your fill color. And I'm going to make a bit of a dotted one there. So I'm going to highlight a double low point there. So you can see after that second low point, it's bounced and had a nice upward trend for the last couple of months. So that's really good. So now let's go to more the advanced tools, and we'll have a look at the Fibonacci. So that'd be a good one if you want to do your resistance, where you want to show your double bottoms wanted, and also you can set your colors. But you'll see on the right side after I've drawn it, it's got all the different resistance lines on there. So you've got your calculations. So you can have a look at those and modify whichever ones you want on there. So I'm just going to clear that all down again, and we're just going to have a look at setting things up from scratch. So I'm going to set up a watch list. Okay, and I'll select one of my watch lists in there. So I'm going to scroll through the code. So I'll open up a chart there. And in that chart, I'm going to select my particular layout that I like. One we set up earlier. So you can see that's all in there. Now the whole idea for you guys is once it's all set up, you'll be able to scroll through your codes and not have to set up anything again. It's all available for you. And that's it for now. For more information about the Bourse Analyser, go to www.boursedata.com.au Also, check out our other videos on YouTube. So, just search for BOURSEDATA in the search field, or send us an email, support@boursedata.com.au, or even give us a call on 1300 363 766.